Good evening and welcome to another Back Sports Show with the Desi and the Gora. Tonight we'll be reviewing the Australia-England game and also looking forward to the Premiership, which all begins tomorrow. Football is back, hooray! And we'll be talking about football later on, but first, the Aussies are going to make me eat another apple crumble. Good evening, Tom from cricketcoach365.co.uk.
Oh, you're getting it. You're getting there. That's the one. Evening, Masood. Good to be with you again to discuss cricket. I'm not so sure about, I'm looking forward to discussing football, but I will happily discuss the cricket despite the result.
Yeah, it was an interesting game. I mean, I missed most of it because I got, finally I managed to get hold of a handyman who we had some bits of work to do at home, and so he managed to come in. And so from this morning, like 8:45, I was in DIY shops and backwards and forwards and just being an assistant to him. So I missed most of the Australian innings, but watched the end of it. And I was hoping England would save my bacon. Now, is that a word am I allowed to use? I don't know whether I'm allowed to use that word or not, but they didn't. So I sat there having my dinner and still hoping. First I was rooting for Bairstow to get that score up, and for Bairstow and who was batting with him?
Billings.
Yeah. They put up a good partnership and stuff like that, but in the end they fell short. The Aussies, 123 for 5, and then in the next 20 overs, after 23 overs, they managed to put up another 100 plus partnership. Maxwell and who's the other one?
Marsh.
Yeah, Mitchell Marsh. So why? I mean, for me, England did a Pakistan special and they get 5 out and then let them off the hook.
Yeah, I watched that innings. I didn't see the first 4 wickets fall, but live, but obviously watched it back. I think England probably just went into the mode where Morgan sort of toys between. He doesn't like going on the all-out attack. If you listen to his post-match interview, he talked about being delighted that they took early wickets, but he said a perfect performance would have been to continue to take wickets. But he took Rashid off when he could have kept him on. But I think he's quite dogmatic in his style of leadership. He likes to have kind of a set routine. So he wanted to have Rashid to come back with 2 or 3 overs left towards the end, hoping that they might break the partnership. I know the commentary team on Sky were talking about the fact that if somebody else managed to get Marsh or Maxwell out early in their partnership, then Rashid would have come back on. But that didn't come off. And I think a lot of credit should be given to Marsh and Maxwell for building a partnership which was without risk, very, very sort of experienced way they went about it. And it could have been worse for England because with 10 overs to go, they still were both at the crease, and I thought they might be looking at 320. So, they put on a very good partnership from a difficult position when they both came. Well, when Maxwell came to join Marsh at the crease, and they obviously gave them the platform to get a defendable total.
Yeah, but they both had, as you said, they played with experience. Well, they're very experienced campaigners in one-day cricket, aren't they? They've been playing. So obviously that experience comes in that situation. You're right. I think in that situation, I mean, you would want your premier bowler to come back and attack and get the wickets, because if you just take that foot off the pedal, sometimes once the batsmen are in, it's very difficult to lodge them again.
Yeah, well, again, I think it was interesting hearing the debate. I think Bumble was kind of mystified as to why, when Archer came back into the attack in that sort of his second spell, which was when Marsh and Maxwell were at the crease, he was bewildered as to why he wasn't bowling with the same pace and in the same areas as he had done in his first spell. But I can't believe that Archer was to being a maverick and bowling how he wanted, as opposed to how his captain wanted. So, I believe that he was under instruction. The phrase at the moment is, that's very in vogue is, bowling to a game plan. And I think the game plan was for England to take pace off and try and get the Australians frustrated. But it just, the two experienced heads that Maxwell and Marsh were, they didn't fall for that. And I think England missed a trick. I think England should have been trying to go for the jugular and get one of them out, expose one of the sort of lower middle order and tail enders, and they might have been chasing 260. Different game then, but it didn't happen. So
yeah, well, you've just mentioned Archer bowling, different later on. But if you look at Mitchell Stark, he was still bowling 90 miles an hour even at the death.
Yeah, but I think that's where the two sides are captained and coached in a different way. I think the Australians are still very much about going on the attack, whether it be with bat or ball, with consideration. But the best way for Stark to bowl is not to take pace off the ball. It's to bowl Yorkers or bouncers. The best way for Hazlewood to bowl is not to try and swing the ball, but to try and just get the ball to nip off the seam, bowling just short of a good length. And Zampa, we got to give him credit, because I thought Rashid bowled really well again. He seems to be mentioned every time we meet and discuss the cricket. But Zampa actually bowled really, really well. Although I think he has to give a hell of a lot of appreciation to his outfielders, because 3 of the 4 catches that got him his wickets were absolutely outstanding catches.
Yeah, I mean, yes, you're right. I mean, Adil Rashid is doing really well, and he gets all the praise and stuff. But then when you've got Zampa, it was under pressure. He's seen Rashid bowl really well, and everybody's been talking about it. And then certainly he came with the goods, and he brought the partnership in when he got Bairstow. How that changed the game quite a way towards Australia.
I think probably the wicket that he was most delighted. I think he got Butler out, and I think that's the wicket that the Australian prized probably ahead of Bairstow and anybody else, without Stoke in the side. And I think another big wicket was Root when Hazlewood got him for just a single. So I mean, I watched the start of the England reply, and yes, Stark and Hazlewood bowled really well, and as did Wokes and Archer at the start of the Australian innings. But England's opening pair, they seem very, very one-dimensional to me. When it comes off, when the bowling that they're facing is not on it, they can destroy teams within less than 10 overs, whether they're posting a total batting first or whether they're chasing a big total batting second. But if the bowling attack that they face is very accurate and puts them under pressure, they don't seem to have a plan B. They literally don't have a plan B. So both Bairstow and Roy go hard at the ball with their hands, and they look to me like if they're not in form and they don't hit a boundary in the first couple of overs, they look to me as though they're about to get out any time, just nicked off. And okay, Roy didn't nick off; he was caught and bowled. But that they've got to come up with a different way of scoring, I think, initially. And what Bairstow showed, in fairness to him, was just by occupying the crease and valuing his wicket a little bit, he managed to keep England in the game for quite some time, partnered by Billings, who batted beautifully.
Yeah, I mean, the English have spent so much time with Pakistan recently, so Pakistan's never had a plan B. So obviously sometimes these things catch on, and maybe Morgan and the England boys think, well, if it doesn't work for Pakistan, it won't work for us either. So that's the other side of it. Think that.
I know you're being tongue in cheek, but I think Jason Roy looks completely and utterly out of form. I wouldn't have picked Jason Roy to open the batting against Australia. I'd have picked Banton. Banton has done really well coming into the side over the summer, and I think that Roy's not played for a while. He's been injured, so he's had no time at the crease in the middle, and it's a very, very different prospect facing Stark, Hazlewood, and Cummins. Then if he's still in to have Zampa come in, then it is to face the Pakistan opening triumvirate. Although I was quick to praise them when we were discussing that series. Yeah. So yeah, I was not really impressed with Roy at all. I think he's also a bit of a liability in the field. So I would have picked Banton ahead of him. But yeah, they always say they pick the best team to suit that pitch and to suit the opposition. Maybe behind closed doors they felt that was the wrong selection. I don't know.
If you look at the two sides there, two big scores from England, almost two big scores from Australia, but one somebody else chipped in with 43, and I think that makes a difference in terms of like, I don't think so. I'm talking about England here, had somebody who came in and like off 10 deliveries got about 20, 30 runs. That made the difference, I think, because if you look at Billings, you get 118 and you've got Bairstow scores 84, and we still lose the match.
Yeah, very good point. I think there were plenty of other people in that batting lineup who has got the ability and the experience behind them to score more runs than they did this evening. Roy looked completely out of nick, as we've said. To get Butler out, for single figures in the form that he's been in this summer was a tremendous scalp, but it was an absolutely fantastic catch in the deep. Moeen Ali, who's batted well last couple of games, got himself back into form. By that stage, England were chasing the game a little bit, so he had to try to hit through the infield and got caught trying to do just that. And then after that, Bairstow and Billings put on a very good innings, partnership. But once Bairstow was out, I think it was a struggle for the England tail. I listened to Test match special coming back from cricket practice this evening, and when Archer was in, and I've absolutely no clue what he thinks he's doing when he's batting. So I know that.
I don't think he does either.
No, I don't think he does.
Yeah, he hasn't got a clue.
I have yet to see him time a ball or hit a gap at pace, and yet supposedly he can bat. Well, I'd rather have Mark Wood ahead of him. Because Wood's proven to be able to hit a few runs when it's been needed. I mean, by that stage, it was asking a lot of England's pair at the wicket to get 2 runs and over against the bowling attack that was still coming in hard from Australia. But I just think he needs a hell of a lot of work if he's going to be somebody who can actually get valuable runs when it matters. Because whether it's in Test, any format of cricket, I've not yet seen him play in a decent innings.
I tell you who's batting I'm quite disappointed with is Arman Al Rashid, because he's got first-class centuries and stuff, and he plays quite well up the order. When he was actually playing red ball cricket for Yorkshire, but he just looks like a number 11 when he plays for England. I'm quite disappointed because I always think he's got more to offer, and it just seems like he's only scored, his best one-day score is 69, and he's played over 104 games. And that is quite disappointing for somebody who should be that good. Especially if you've scored, first-class centuries at county level, then you should be able to bat a bit better than that.
Yeah, I think that's a really good observation, Masood. But I think my view of him, quite honestly, is that I think he's quite a dangerous batsman against mediocre bowling. I think he can manoeuvre the ball into areas which is very difficult to set a field to when the bowling's not that great. But against the better bowlers in the world, I don't think he's ever good enough, and I don't think he will ever be good enough. So I think he's the main reason. Just like Archer's in there to take wickets. He's not in there for his batting. I don't think Rashid is in there really, other than to play a supporting role. When he's got to take on a little bit of proactive batsmanship, against the best bowlers in the world, I just don't think he is up to it really.
Well, the first blood to the Aussies at the moment, and let's see if we go on to your predictions of 2-1. So England must win next game to actually level the series.
Well, if you remember, I was debating whether it be 2-1 to either team, but I ended up going 2-1 England. So yeah, next game it's all or nothing, isn't it, for my prediction? But the only good thing about that is that you're already out of the equation.
Yeah, I'm already gone. Yeah, so I mean, if the Aussies win that, then we'll have to have a double pie, and then we can share one.
Yeah, 2 for 1.
Yeah,
buy one get one free.
It's one of those things, isn't it? Yeah, cheap Pakistani man, Bradfordian. Actually, we had the opening of a shop in Bradford. They were selling fish and chips for 45 pence today. So there you go. There's something that you might have you learn something.
You might have given me a couple of chips.
Yeah, you get chips. You only get one chip in crossing the other side of the Pennines, you guys, for 45 pence. Listen, mate, don't tell me anything about the Red Rose County. I struggled to go across there. I took it about Red Rose County and the White Rose County. Tomorrow is a big football's back. Premiership is finally back. Next, this new season starts, and we've got some tasty opening day matches. The biggest one being Leeds versus
Liverpool. Yeah,
Liverpool, Leeds.
I know. So, time is moving on, and I'm sure that your listeners and viewers don't really want to listen to our discussion about Leeds, Liverpool. But what I would say is that you remember Chris Waddle?
Yes, I know. Yeah, the one who is free.
Yeah.
Penalty went over the top.
Yeah, exactly. Somehow he's still got a job in punditry on BBC, and he's one of about 25 pundits that predicted who he felt was going to win the Premier League this year. Now, bear in mind, the other 19, it was like a 50-50 split between Liverpool and Man City. Who do you think that Waddle picked?
What, Chelsea?
Man United.
Man United. I was about to say Man United, actually. I was about to say Man United. Then I thought maybe he's got, he's maybe wiser than that, but he's not. If he thinks Man United, there's few Man United people. Actually, somebody else has said Man United will come second. There's a few deluded Man U fans across there. I'm sure you must have come across a few across in your part of the world.
I've come across more than a few, Masood, I can assure you of that. But they've become very disillusioned in the last couple of seasons because they've got very, very short memories. And I just hope that with our family rule, which is for football, you can support anybody you like apart from Man U. I hope that if they can come second, that's fine. They can come second or 22nd. I don't care as long as they don't win.
True, spoken like a true Villa fan. Right, okay, let's predict some matches tomorrow. What do you think? The first game tomorrow is Fulham versus Arsenal. Who would you say would be?
Arsenal win.
Arsenal?
Arsenal win, yeah.
Arsenal will get that one, okay. Then we've got Palace Southampton.
Draw.
Okay. And Liverpool Leeds. Go on, but before we fight, what do you think?
No, I think Liverpool will win, but I think it will only be by one goal. I think Leeds will score.
Yeah, I reckon it's going to be 1-1. So I'm going to put my neck out and go for a draw. I think we might just about get a draw because I think the Leeds are not a bad side, even though Adrian Durham on TalkSport said Leeds will get relegated. So I don't know. You might agree with him.
He talks rubbish 99.9% of the time anyway. So all he does is talk rubbish just to try and get people wound up to ring in and pay over the top for premium rate phones.
Yeah, I suppose we should be doing something like that because I talk rubbish as well, don't I?
I was going to say we both do.
We've got something in common, haven't we? We've got something in common. West Ham, Newcastle. I mean, Newcastle has spent some money, haven't they? They bought strikers and stuff. Actually, Mike Ashley's given Brucey some money.
Yeah, West Ham home win for me. I think they finished the season really well, and Newcastle got a lot of new players, and they don't like travelling down south.
I'm going to go for 2-0 to Newcastle.
Okay.
Yeah, it's 2-0 to Newcastle.
I'm going to have an awful lot of bets owing to me after this.
Well, we should have some fun tomorrow, I think. And then we move on to Sunday. We've got West Brom, promoted side. Obviously, they came second against Leicester, Midlands derby.
I think that'll be a draw.
Yeah, I would go for. I think I'm going to go for Leicester again. 2-1 to Leicester.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we've got the team. This is one of the team I can't stand at all. I don't know. No matter what happens, I hate Spurs. So it's Spurs, Everton. The other team, the better team from Merseyside, the best team on Merseyside.
Well, Everton have bought 4 pretty big name players, and Ancelotti looks as though he's set to wanting to stay and make a bit of a statement. And he's not used to being in any managerial position at any club where he doesn't want to do well. So I think there's going to be quite a big improvement for Everton this season. I'm not a Spurs I don't really like Spurs either. I think there's far too many people in the press and media and football who think that Spurs are a massive club. Well, they've never won the European Cup, so for me, they're not a massive club. They've never won the Premier League, therefore they're never a massive club. But I think it will be. I think that will probably be a draw as well.
Yeah, I reckon that's probably a 1-1 draw. That, but I mean, Everton, like you said, they've spent some money on this year. James Rodriguez, good player. They've made some marquee signings, haven't they?
Yeah, they have, and he scored one of the best ever World Cup goals you'll see in the modern era. So, but he's not really lived up to the hype since that goal that he scored for Colombia. So, yeah, I mean it's a great signing for Everton, and they've also, I think they've picked up a great player in Decore from, I think it was from Watford.
Watford, yeah.
So I think he will add a hell of a lot of steel to their midfield, which was crap last year. So yeah, I think they'll be certainly pushing for Europe, Everton, this year.
And then we've got the second poor team in the Premier League from Yorkshire, second team in Yorkshire, Sheffield United against Wolves. That's at Bramall Lane. What do you think of that? That's on Monday night, isn't it? Monday, 6 o'clock.
I think the Sheffield United didn't come back well after lockdown. They kind of rallied a little bit towards the end, but they went through a period of maybe 4 games or so where they couldn't score a goal and they hardly got a point. And Wolves have signed a couple of decent players. They are effectively a Portuguese / Mexican international side with a Scouser at centre half. So I really like Nunes as a manager. I like the style of football they play. But I know that's the wrong side of Yorkshire for you, but I really was impressed and persuaded to really respect Wilder and his Sheffield United team last year. So I think again that's possibly going to be a draw, but maybe Sheffield United might just edge it.
No, I think Wolves will win that one. 2-0 to Wolves. I'm going to go for that. Brighton against Chelsea. Oh dear me, I can't stand the manager of that team, Chelsea. Good God. Yeah. if there is anybody who's a big crybaby, that's him. Big Frank.
Yeah. No, I'm with you on that as well. But again, I don't say Brighton haven't got a great team, but their manager is the one who took the side in Sweden from Division 4 all the way through to the first division and won the cup and won the league double. I think he's a very, very underrated, very smart guy. As to whether he's good enough to keep them up is another thing. But first game of the season is always a bit of a strange one. Chelsea, I think, will be pushing for top 3 this year if they can keep the team fit and if they can kind of keep all the egos of all the prima donnas in check. If not, I think they'll just flatter to deceive again. But first game of the season, I think Brighton might get something out of that game. So I'm going to go for a cheeky home win.
Yeah, well, I'll probably say the same as well because I don't want Chelsea to lose. But they bought some big players, haven't they, this year? They bought some big names.
Yeah, they have, but that doesn't necessarily mean that straight away they're going to all gel together because, obviously we're still in that phase where people can be bought despite the fact that the season's about to start. So, some of those new players have only just arrived the last couple of weeks. They've never been to Britain before. So I think it'll take them a while to bed in. But, I mean, no doubt about it, Chelsea have got a talented side.
And we shall see you probably tomorrow with a preview of the Liverpool-Leeds game, which I'm going to be saying 1-1. But to be controversial, I'm going to say Leeds are going to win 2-0.